Hello, this is Callista, also known as Magical Girl Me. Today I am making part 2 of my Lolita Fashion with Chronic Illness series. Lolita fashion is beautiful, but for someone with chronic illness, it can be a challenge just to get dressed. An additional obstacle that Lolitas face is having a chronic illness and attending Lolita fashion meets. I hope these tips will help you and make your event a success. The first tip is to know your limitations. You personally need to know what you can handle. It's not going to be a fun event if you push yourself beyond your limits. When it comes to the Lolita fashion meets that I attend versus the ones that I don't, there are a few factors that come into play. First, what does the meetup entail? How long is the event? Will there be a lot of walking or driving? Do I need an RSVP? And is the event inside or outside? The difference between a simple art exhibit meet in your hometown versus a out-of-state high tea meetup can be very extreme. It's important to know the details about the meetup. Knowing this information will help you plan ahead. What does the meetup entail? When you see the post about the event online, be sure to check out all the details. You'll know who's running the event, where it's supposed to take place, what time it's supposed to be, and any other important factors. This can be something as easy as we're having an outdoor event and bring a snack for everyone to share, or if it's a themed meetup where everyone's supposed to be in the same theme, all those details will be in the meetup, which will help you in the long run. If you have any questions regarding the particular event, connect with the Lolita who's hosting it. So a few common concerns, I'll go over those. The first one I'm going to start with is food. If the event requires food or drink, and it's going to be held at a restaurant or cafe, go online and view what the place has to offer. That way you can look and see if you need to make any allergy considerations beforehand. It's really helpful because most places post this information online. As someone who has multiple food allergies, I completely understand the need and want to make sure that you're able to eat something and eat it safely. If there aren't any options for you for the place you're attending, bring your own snacks. A few Lolitas that I connected with mentioned that they pack their own lunch and then they eat that before or after the event. Most places will not allow you to bring in outside food or drink. If they do, absolutely go for it. If not, I tend to just eat before or after the meetup. For events where you can bring food to share, bring something that you can eat. Not only can you make sure that there's something that you can have, but maybe someone else has food allergies and they can share that as well. Another common concern is sitting. Many Lolita events require sitting for a long period of time. This can be something as easy as a movie or a play. If you have a hard time staying still in that position for a long time, I suggest looking to see how long the duration of the event is. Maybe perhaps going to a ballet isn't a good option for you if there's only a 10-minute intermission or so. I do suggest if you go to the event, sit on the seat that's next to the aisle. So if you need to get up and stretch your legs or use the restroom or even just have a place like a restroom to kind of collect yourself if you have any anxiety, it's a really good idea. Not only will this be easy for you to get in and out of the event, but it will also make it easy. You're not inconveniencing anyone else when you leave as well. If sitting for a long period of time, even with breaks, means that you're going to miss the vast majority of the event, I would say just to skip it. It's not worth paying the money and missing out on the event if you're just going to be uncomfortable the whole time. There's other events. It's not the end of the world. Another concern is accessibility. If you're a Lolita that faces a challenge with mobility, it's important for you to know where the event is being held. So if it's something like a museum, like how many stairs are there? Is it handicap accessible? But if it's like a Lolita's home, then I would definitely connect with that Lolita and ask if where they live and what their setup is like. If there's going to be tons of stairs and that's a challenge for you, obviously it's not a good fit. Thankfully, most businesses do accommodate handicap accessibility, and that is really nice, so you don't have to worry about that. Definitely, if you feel like it's going to be too much of a challenge, I would just skip this event and move to the next one. When it comes to how long the event is, I tend to think of it as how long will it take me to get ready? How long is the actual scheduled event? Are we going to be doing anything afterwards? And then how long will it take for me to get to from the meetup to my house? All of that comes into play when I'm trying to figure out if this is something that I can feasibly do. What time of day is the Lolita event? If you're like me, I experience more pain on certain parts of the month or day, and definitely there's time periods that seem to correlate with how I'm feeling. So if you're someone that experiences more pain in the morning to early afternoon, maybe a 12 o'clock meetup isn't a good fit for you for like a luncheon. I would definitely, if you feel better in the evening, you could always go to the event later. If, for example, the Lolitas are going to meet at a restaurant and you know that they're going to go to a park at 2 o'clock, I would just let them know and go to the park at 2 o'clock. You definitely want to make sure you're going to be comfortable. On the flip side, if you experience more pain in the evening and it's a later event, there's nothing wrong with excusing yourself a little bit early to make sure that you have enough time to get home and rest. It's really nice to be able to connect with people in person with our interests, especially going to a Lolita meetup is really fun because you can see all the coordinates in person. But you definitely want to make sure you're taking time for yourself as well. And there's really nothing wrong with making slight adjustments in order to make yourself comfortable. If you're like me with my last event, it was actually in my hometown. So I was able to factor in driving very easily. It wasn't a challenge. However, if we planned an event in another state or farther in the state, which meant more driving, that could be part of a challenge. Something that I like to do is, again, leave early if I need to, because I know I need the hour and a half to drive home and then another half hour to get comfortable, and then I need that time to reset my body. But you can also adjust that. So not only can you leave early, but you could also go with a friend or carpool. Definitely let the friend know ahead of time that you might not be feeling well and things might be difficult as far as that goes. But I've found that it's really easy to carpool with people, and that way I don't exert the extra energy driving. Someone can drive for me. And that's really, really nice to be able to carpool as well. So that could be an option for you. Walking for Lolita meets, it depends on the Lolita meet. Some events can just be a simple play or movie or exhibit, but other times you're downtown in the city and you're walking a lot, and then you're walking somewhere else to take pictures and somewhere else to eat, which is really fun, but it can be very taxing for anyone with a chronic illness, especially if you have mobility accommodations. Since there's a lot of travel involved, you can plan a coordinate that's more comfortable. Tea party shoes are simply adorable, but if you're going to be doing a lot of walking, you can bring sensible shoes to change into as well. You really need to take care of yourself, especially with walking. I think this is something that people forget about, including myself, and I have a lot of fun running around, and then at the end of the day, I'm just exhausted. So I want to make sure, just as a heads up, to kind of bring some awareness just a little bit when it comes to running around. And something as sensible as just bringing shoes that are comfortable is a huge help. Indoor events, it's complicated because it's for multiple things. If you struggle with anxiety or crowds or anything like that, definitely ask where the restroom is. You can go ahead and excuse yourself and take a couple minutes just to collect yourself, even if you don't have to use the restroom. If you have chronic illnesses with just pain or digestive issues, it's helpful to know where the restroom is as well. I've used nicer ones that have like a chair to kind of sit for a couple minutes and kind of just relax my body and then go back out to the event. And especially if you're having any threat of digestion issues, it's good to know where the restroom is so you can be the most comfortable. Indoor events also, the temperature can vary drastically. Either it can be super hot or really cold. I suggest that you wear something comfortable as a coordinate that would be good for something that would be warmer, but then bring a bolero or a sweater. Cardigans are really easy to fold up and put into bags, and you can bring that if it ends up being really chilly. I find that like movie theaters are the worst for that, but going to like a play or an exhibit, it can tend to be really hot because there's a lot of people in one room. I like to have that flexibility for temperature. That also applies for outdoor events. As I spoke about in my last video, you can definitely bring a parasol to help with becoming, hot and not being exposed to the sun. You can wear layers and take the monitor off depending on the temperature of the event that you're going to. So really knowing the location of where the meet's going to take place is helpful when planning your event. Definitely if you're going to a meetup, you can find out the location and kind of adjust it for your own needs and make it something so you can be comfortable while you're there, but still participate and have fun with your fellow Lolitas. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video was helpful. I'd love to hear your tips because I would love to incorporate them into planning my own meetup adventures. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you should, because I upload videos twice a month. And I like to do topics that other people don't necessarily like to address, so you'll never know. I might surprise you. Thank you so much for watching again, and stay frilly.